Where are we going, Axel?
We are going to Nakano.
I explore.
Check this amazing shot, Lucas. Isn't that amazing?
That was pretty cool. I like it. I was like, wait, what's he gonna do? And then I understood. That's pretty awesome. Hey everyone, Lucas from iExplore here. Today, Axel and I, Axel who's behind the camera,
Yep.
are in Nakano and we're gonna do some street photography around here. I'm gonna do something a little bit different today in terms of gear. Usually I use prime lenses, 40, 28, but today I'm using a 24 to 70 zoom, which is a beast of a lens to use for street photography, but sometimes it works really well for me and I wanna try something different today. So that's what I got. And we're gonna explore the area, but it's a little quiet because it is a holiday, so we'll see how it goes. And at the end, we might hit up a rooftop spot and do some tripod shooting there, but no promises. All right, so let's go. Okay. So the main street is over there, but I don't go in the main street. I like this little passage here. This is my little go-to spot. So let's pop in there and see what's up. Usually all the bars and stuff are open, but today it's a little bit. It's not as quiet as I thought. It's not too bad. Oh yeah, here we go. So I was a little worried that some of these bars would be closed, but they're still open, so there's some light. And I like the lamps, and then partially there are shutters down because it's getting late. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna underexpose by 1 or 2 stops, like I always do. And with these kind of shots, especially since I'm using the zoom lens, and in this case on 70 mil, the hard part is figuring out where to focus. So I'm actually focusing on the lamps, but I think we should get a little bit closer. Maybe try it as a portrait. All right. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's go in there more. Okay, now I'm just getting the one lamp down there. And then it's just a matter of waiting, for an interesting subject, like that. Yeah, that's cool, simple. To be honest, I already have a really awesome shot here, so I'll probably, I don't need to wait for another one, but it is nice to kind of try it again and again. Anyways, the thing about alleys like this is you definitely want to turn around. It's easy to go one direction, and then you're shooting in that direction, and you never look back, and you realize, oh man, I'm missing a really good view in the other direction. So, and there we go. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Honestly, let's go a little wider. I'm gonna go down to 28. Beauty of the zoom lens. Okay, I'm gonna shoot it from here. And that was very serendipitous. Like I wasn't planning on that. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
That popped out.
Yeah.
Bam,
Did you get
just shot
lucky?
it.
Did you get it?
I got it. Yeah, I got it. It looked great. I mean, it wasn't the most interesting moment, but it was cool to get in there, in that moment. It's also a good place to get a little lower and aim higher, just to get more of the upper reaches of the space. And then I'm going to be a little patient. I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes because who knows, somebody else might come out or go in. So yeah, settings I forgot to mention the aperture because this is an f2.8 lens, and to me it's just a given that in this light I'll probably be shooting on f2.8 the whole time. So pretty much always going to be f2.8, and then bouncing between a slow shutter like a 60th and a fast shutter like a 250th, depending on the situation. Yeah, somebody just peeked out of there. One of the customers was like, "What is going on?" Some girl, and then she quickly went back in when I made eye contact with her. Okay, well, let's keep going. Okay, I know I said be patient, but I don't want to make us wait here forever. Yeah, Axel's nodding. Axel's like,
It's
let's
okay,
go.
it's okay.
Let's go. There's a guy coming anyway, and we're in the way, so there we go. Yeah, okay, one last one for the road. window's really cool. That has a lot of potential. If there was anybody in that window, that would be a really cool shot. So it might be worth going back to -1. So it might be worth, this is the kind of place where I think it's very unlikely that somebody will appear in that window anytime soon. But as we walk around the area, keep it in the back of my mind, and maybe we'll wind around the neighborhood, and we'll end up on this street again, take a peek at the window. Because the overall scene is really great with the bike, the door, the window all together is really cool. I like the shot as is. It's already got a lot going on. So I think it's pretty interesting just like that. Let's keep going. All right, let's go this way. This is nice though. That's awesome. This busted up sign is gorgeous to me. Very beautiful. Yeah, awesome. That's really cool. As always, I say, most people wouldn't call that street photography, and I agree. But when I'm out shooting, I'm not limiting myself. Of course, I'm shooting other stuff as well.
So this brings the debate. What is street photography, Lucas?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, there's a couple characteristics it has to have, right? It has to be candid, which means like unstaged. It has to be, I would say, kind of like mundane, so not like, what do you call it? Not like news, like journalism. Photojournalism is something newsworthy, like events or, world events, political events, whatever. That's journalism. That's not mundane, right? Mundane is just like everyday, regular stuff. Another thing that I think it has to have is there should be some moment of like temporal, wasn't the word I'm looking for? Ephemeral, like temporary, temporal limited. Basically what I'm trying to say is the decisive moment.
Right.
It needs to be temporally limited. There's like a moment, and if you miss the moment, well, then it's over. If the longer the moment is, the less, I see something over there, the less of a street photograph it is. And that's about it, I would say. It has to be those things. Yeah, it's in a public place, usually, right? Not a private space. Often it deals with people, but I don't think it has to. So those are the things characteristics I would give a street photograph.
Unstaged, in public, has to have people, but not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but it has to be mundane. That's
Mundane.
important. It has to be like everyday, regular stuff.
And the
Just
decisive
regular
moment.
life and a decisive moment. Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna look in there. This is where the long lens comes in handy.
So in this particular case, what did caught your eye?
Well, there's cooks in there. There's a kitchen, and I like shooting from far away. It's a bit voyeuristic, I suppose, but I like shooting through a little gap with the other stuff around, and then getting that little person in there, right, in their environment. But I'm waiting for the guy who's leaning forward right now to, stop doing what he's doing and lean back and get a better shot of him. So I'm just gonna wait here patiently, like a weird guy, because doing street photography is a little bit weird, no matter what. I had this discussion with another friend of mine the other day, and we got into that ethical discussion, like, well, when's it okay and when's it not okay? And you know, I just come to the conclusion every time I think about this that if you go out and take photos in public of, like in public spaces, and there's any people, even sometimes without people, you're inevitably going to step into some sort of moral, like, dilemma, right? There's no way to do street photography and never step on any toes. You're always going to at least a little bit. The question is, what's your limit? Like, how much are you willing to sacrifice, right?
You as a photographer.
You as a photographer, like, what are your ethical boundaries, right? And honestly, you got to decide them for yourself, right? Well, this guy definitely busted us, but that's okay. The thing for me about getting noticed is not so much that, like, oh, I got noticed. I don't care that I got noticed, but it often ruins the photo because he's just looking right in the camera. And I don't want that, you know. It's not. Generally, that's not that interesting. I prefer a more candid moment. I was just saying, street photography is candid. I think once you start interacting with your subject, yeah, it can still be called street photography. I'm not making up any rules here. But to me, it's starting to get like a little less than an ideal street photo once you start influencing the subject somehow. All right, let's leave this guy alone. Yes. Whatever. I don't worry so much about the definition. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares? I'm just out here to shoot and have a good time, and I do it the way it feels right to me, which to me, like I said, is mostly candid. You know, generally, what was it saying? Like just boring, regular stuff. You know, mundane things. And I'm already forgetting the things I said. Because see, I don't spend that much time thinking about it. There's a post on my blog where I do go into it, so I could put that in the description. Let's keep going.
Smells good around here.
It does.
Oof.
Don't mention food to me right now. Let's not talk about food. Oh, sorry. See, I keep stopping because I keep saying things. Nice, that's cool too. I mean, this is very similar to the last vlog we did, which was shooting chefs. I think we keep going. Let's keep going. He's got his back to me now. I like the shot that I got. So yeah, we should probably talk a little bit about Nakano, like what it is. We kind of glossed over this, but yeah, I mean, it's what it looks like. It's nightlife, bars. Not so much the dirty, girly bars like we saw in the Ikebukuro last time. But let's look down this little passage, and then we'll eventually come back here. This place is really cool, by the way. Check, let me get it. This is a good restaurant. I love their theme with like the railroad stuff. It's called Okajoki, and they have this big hearth inside, like a big flame barbecue hearth, you know, and they make fish, grilled fish. It's actually really good food. Yeah, take a look through the window, maybe you can.
Let's take a look.
You can. No, I think there's a view here on one of these windows. Might even make a good photo. See that? They're cooking with this like big hearth.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, here's something interesting. We're trying to also talk about like Japan, Japanese culture, and here's something that interests me, that fascinates me. So this is a tuck shop.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. In Japan, let's park over there. This is going to be a long explanation. This is like the explanation of the snacks last time. You know, I got a lot to say about it. So in Japan, gambling's illegal, right? Gambling's illegal, except for pachinko, which is basically like slot machines, and also horse racing and I think boat racing of all things.
Correct.
But whatever, I don't know much about those. Pachinko. So how is it legal? Why does it get a loophole? Well, because when you gamble at a pachinko, you don't win money. You win prizes, which I assume if you don't win big money, it'll be like candy bars or cigarettes. But if you win like a lot of money, which are these little ball bearings, right? Then the prize can be actual literal gold. And then what do you do with the gold? Well, the gold is obviously gold. It's valuable. So you go like literally across the street from the pachinko to the TUC shop, which you know what TUC stands for?
No, that I have no idea.
Ah, man, I forgot too. It was like Tokyo Union of something.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up right now because we'll just cut it. We'll just cut this part. Yeah, right. I mean, it even says on Wikipedia, Japanese society has enabled a specific legal loophole allowing it to exist. TUC stands for Tokyo Union Circulation, because that's what it does. They circulate. So basically, you get your gold, you go to the TUC shop, you sell the gold, you get cash. Great, you just successfully gambled. What do? They sell the gold back to the pachinko, and then they're gonna give it to you. You know what I mean? It just goes. The gold just keeps going in circles. Ridiculous. Anyways, there's lots of examples of that kind of stuff in Japan when it comes to loopholes where something's illegal, and then there's some special way around it. But that's the one we're gonna leave it at for today. There's an old TUC shop and a nice, a little bit newer TUC shop. Fascinating stuff. Japan is like a country of contradictions, you know? Another one that I love is the idea that a lot of people think Japan is very high tech, which in some ways it is. You know, you have the bullet trains, all this stuff. The internet here is really good. Everyone has fiber, you know, whatever. But then, like, you still use fax machines in Japan, you know? And I don't know
that was a pachinko for you.
That was
there.
a pachinko, the noise of a pachinko. That was kind of cool.
Cute scene.
Cute scene, but really what also caught my eye is this sign. I love this sign. This is gorgeous.
The sound of the pachinko will be all over the place in the recording.
All right, that's okay. Let's keep going then. That's a nice little moment. Oh, this is cool with the karaoke as well, adding some color here. And actually, this street is really nice. I really like that street down there, so we're gonna head that way. There's something I always tell people is that it's better to shoot on an empty stomach. So the thing about being hungry is, in my opinion, when you are hungry, your brain operates in like heightened senses because you're like hungry. You're looking for food, right? You want to eat, and therefore that helps you with street photography. You're more
acute. No,
is that the right word?
I don't know.
I don't think that's the right word.
Attuned.
Attuned. You're more focused. Let's use the basic English word. You're more focused, concentrating on things, because you're searching. You know, and once you eat something, you're like satisfied. So I like to go out when I'm hungry, but eventually you get so hungry that you start to lose motivation on shooting. And you just want to sit down and eat. And unfortunately, the timing is not good today. I'm actually pretty hungry already, but we'll do our best. I love these stairs over here, by the way. So, I snuck up here and Axel has joined me up here. And I will say this, I use the railing, which is conveniently nice and flat, to get a nice horizontal shot. But the vertical composition, I think, is really the cash money composition here, which means I'll have to bust out the tripod. Yeah. All right, and usually what I do with this is to get like a better vantage point, make it a little shorter, and then I lean it against the railing like that. Okay, to make it a little shorter to make it more stable. All right, cool. And then we're going to get a nice vertical composition of this. Nice and level. Okay, I'm going to put the ISO on 100, the aperture on f8, and the shutter speed on, let's say, 8 seconds. Let's say 6 seconds to start. focus somewhere out there and something kind of in the middle, more or less, of the composition. And turn on my 2-second timer. And voila, here we go. See how that goes. A little bit bright, so I'm going to cut that to, let's say, 3 seconds, a little bit underexposed. Okay. Yeah, the big triangular building behind there is called Nakano Sun Plaza, which is a really cool retro-looking building. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to go a little wider and a little lower, so I don't have to aim it up as much. Just a little bit higher. Then I'm going to refocus again. Zoom out. 8. Make sure it's there. One more shot. In this case, I'm using the little electronic level on the back of the camera. I don't always need my photo to be perfectly level, but in this case I like it to be level because I want nice emphasis on the geometry of the scene, so I don't want to introduce any unnecessary angles, but sometimes I do. So now I'm on 4 seconds, f8, 100 ISO. 100 ISO the whole time when I'm on the tripod. Sometimes I'll go higher if the time starts to get a little crazy, but in the city generally it's fine. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, seriously, it was well worth coming up here. So we got kicked out of there. But that's okay because I got the photo I wanted, so we're going to keep going. I love like just candid shots like this of people, you know, eating or smoking and drinking, especially drinking. Now, you know who I learned this from, Axel?
No.
You know who taught me this?
Me?
You.
Yeah.
Not you behind, outside the camera guy, sorry. I mean the guy behind the camera, which is Axel. Yeah, I mean like, I don't know if that's the first time I saw it, but I remember you took a photo of like a geisha or something between
Yes.
the curtains.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. It's like a
No,
black
someone-
and white curtain.
It was a
A
fake.
girl in a kimono.
Yeah,
or
girl in a
something.
kimono, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, that's a good idea. Shooting through like a little, because noren, these noren curtains, which we talked about last time, are everywhere in Tokyo. So there's lots of opportunities for this, right? So I'm always looking for little, and I have tons more photos of
Slits.
this. But this is one of the best ones I've ever got, actually. This guy is, just the way his face lines up with the writing in the noren is really cool.
But that's the thing. The noren, so noren, for those who don't know in Japan, but I think we talked about it already. They are those small curtains. When the curtains are on, it means that the shop is open. When the curtain is off, it means that the shop is closed. And they tend to be very graphical. You know,
Yeah.
there's always a lot of,
Yeah.
either Japanese characters,
Yeah, or
colors.
nice texture.
Textures.
Right? The cloth they made him out of is
Yeah.
probably not simple. It's something kind of fancy. I got a couple where he was drinking without the noren, like from below. This is a great example of working the scene, because I got a really good shot already, and then I took it a step further. It would have been easy to take the first one and just walk away. Got Michael Jackson. All right, so this little area is really cool. I'm a fan of this little group of bars and these little passages. Here's a really nice noren, speaking of noren, with like sumo wrestlers on it. So just to recap, I do static shots like that on the 60th, but then I'm back on 250 because I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there'll be an action shot again. Let's go over here. You know what? I've never been in there. Let's go in there. Let's go in there, Axel. Be good.
It looks.
It's full of like, you know, bars and shops, so it's
Okay.
fine. It's just a shopping, little old shopping thing. See, it's like a little girls' bar or cafe, you know, Mado Cafe. Let's go up these stairs. I look, that door is in the shape of a coffin.
Oh my god.
Ooh, getting spooky. This view's pretty good. So here I'm going to do a, what do you call it? Like a bracket, okay? 2 stops apart. So I'm going to do one photo, another photo that's minus 2 stops. Or plus 2 stops, I should say. Plus 2. Because I want it to be brighter. Because this sign is obviously so bright that, you know, it's hard to get everything in one exposure. And I do that on the high-speed mode. And there we go. And now I have 2 photos. One of them is very well exposed for the sign. Honestly, the one photo might actually be perfect for exposure, just when I brighten it up. But it's good to have the other one kind of just in case. I'm going to do one more on f4. I was on 2.8. For a shot like this, I like everything super tack sharp. So I'm going to do one more on f4 just to be safe. Which means the ISO is going to be 2 times higher on average. And I mean, that to me, these colors are absolutely gorgeous, and the background too. So yeah, let's keep going. And one little note, as I've done last time I was shooting on the tripod, this time was just doing that bracket thing, I immediately put all my settings back. I might need to set them, I might do a bracket right around the corner. But if I'm gonna do a bracketed shot like that, I know I have time to set it up. But if I suddenly see a cool street scene, there's no time. So basically, I always go back to my fast street settings so that I'm always ready to go, no matter what. All right, let's keep going. All right, so we came in from here. Let's go out. There's actually another passage there to go out, and then we'll head for that rooftop. We'll get, oh, let me get a shot of this sign though real quick. I especially like these signs when they're broken. That's my thing, like the one I got earlier. So, like this side's not broken really. When I saw the broken part on the other side, I thought, ooh, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's worth a shot.
What is it about the fact that it's broken that you like?
Well, in Japan, there's this concept called wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi.
You know about wabi-sabi,
Ooh.
Axel? What's wabi-sabi? You probably can explain it better than I can. I'm gonna fudge it up. Tell me about wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi is a concept of finding beauty, finding perfection in the things that are imperfect.
Yeah, I've also heard, I don't know if this is true, I could be wrong or mistaken, but that it partially comes from Buddhism, and it's related to the idea of the impermanence of things. That nothing lasts forever, so eventually things break down and fall apart. And that's why there's beauty in the imperfection. But I don't know about that second part, if that's accurate or not, or I just made that part up. So for me, these broken lamps and things, that they have that imperfection, and they have that impermanence aspect where
Some
they're
character.
That's right. And so that's why I like when things are broken. All right. So batteries are running low on the phone, camera, whatever. Mine are actually a little low too. But most importantly, I'm getting hungry. So let's go to that rooftop spot, see what we can do there. And then after that, let's get some food. All right? Let's go this way. Hey, look at Spider-Man over there.
I mean, it doesn't feel like we've been walking far away from the station.
No, we're still really close. We're just wandering, meandering. Yeah.
It's like a labyrinth in here.
I mean, it's not that complicated. It's actually kind of a grid here, but I've been sort of leading us in a really random way because there's like certain spots that I like that I wanted to revisit. There's some things that I haven't visited in a long time, and I wanted to come along, and I wanted to discover something new. So, kind of meandering in the same few blocks. But yeah, in theory, we're like literally 3-4 minutes from the station. It's just there. It's a very small area that we're exploring. Nice. Beautiful today.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the view over there, all those skyscrapers, that's Shinjuku. And so here in Nakano, you can get an amazing view. And today, the summer haze is really gorgeous. So there's this, what's called in art and photography, aerial perspective. You ever heard about that, Axel? Aerial perspective?
No.
So you know perspective, right?
Yeah.
Perspective gives you the sense of scale and distance. It depends on where you're standing, right? But there's another kind of perspective called aerial perspective, which you get an idea of depth based on like how much haze there is in the image. So if you draw mountains, if you're painting and you draw them with no haze, they're going to look more really flat. But if you put the ones that are in the back, because honestly it's up to you, you're painting it, which ones are in the back. The ones you want to look to be in the back, you put more haze. The colors are more faded. And therefore the human eye is used to that and you can just see, oh, that's farther away. It's the same effect here. The skyscrapers back there are more hazy than the buildings in the foreground, so it adds to that perspective. So it's a gorgeous scene. It's really nice. The composition, having been here, I know what works well for me. I'm going to do a vertical composition so that I could have a nice juxtaposition with this roof thing in the foreground, which we've been hinting at and which we photographed earlier from that other spot, and the skyscrapers in the background there. Okay, I could do this really wide, but I'm actually going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to do it around, what am I on here, like 35-ish? I'm going to go to f8. I'm going to go to manual ISO and only 100. And then the shutter speed, maybe like 2 seconds or something like that. Let's go with 2 seconds for now. Yeah, that looks pretty good. 2 seconds for now. And then put my timer on. I've got a 2-second timer.
So this is Shinjuku that we're seeing here?
Yes, so those skyscrapers are Shinjuku. The one with the blue tips, that's the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, yeah, the Tocho in Japanese. Which in a second, in fact, because honestly I've done this wide shot a bunch, but what I don't have many of is the long shot. So I'm going to get one more wide shot since I'm already all set up for it. And while that's happening, I'm going to open my bag. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be safe. Safety first. I'm going to pay attention to my camera so it doesn't fall off the roof. But I'm going to get my 200 mil. We're going to do them on 200 because I don't have so many of that version of this shot. Okay, here we go. I like to focus on the back screen. We actually have a whole video on that. So when I'm doing this kind of shooting, I'm also going to up my timer from only 2 seconds to 5 seconds, because on this telephoto lens, this 200 mil, it needs a little more time to settle down. I don't have the most sturdy tripod. I opted for a light and small tripod versus a heavy sturdy tripod, because I also do street and I don't want to carry that thing around. And last thing, I'm going to turn off the VR, the vibration reduction, because generally that's advised for this kind of shooting. And here we go. And right now I'm shooting at 135 millimeter and getting a nice tight shot on those skyscrapers, which look beautiful. Oh man, that looks really nice today. I love the haze. The haze and the clouds, because it's still the rainy season and it's cloudy, they make the sky so much more colorful. And it doesn't look that colorful, but later when you're editing, you can pull out some color. Rather than when there's no clouds, it's just black. So the clouds reflect the city lights right back at the city, and it just looks beautiful. All right, guys, so the battery on the phone's getting low, so we can't record too much more video. But anyway, I spend most of the time shooting here with my 200, so we'll put some photos up that, you know, we've been putting photos up for my 200mm with all the settings and all that. Just something I want to say about shooting with a 200, you know, when I come up on the roofs, with the wide angle, eventually you quickly exhaust the compositions you can get. But with a telephoto, in this case a 70-200, there's so many little details that you can zoom in on, so you can kind of see an old spot, even though I've been here a million times, and still get some fresh perspectives. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. We are kind of actually running out of steam. It's almost 11, we're hungry, but also the batteries are dying. You know, look at us, we're not that well prepared. Hopefully also the audio was better this time because we put some effort into getting better mics compared to what we had last time. Anyway, that about sums it up for today. A little bit of street photography in Nakano with 24-70 zoom lens, and now I have the 200 on for some rooftop stuff. Of course, always please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. Any questions you have, we're happy to answer. And remember, always challenge your eye.